Polish PM tells Ukraine's Zelenskiy, never to insult Poles again.
Here's a summary of the article.
Warsaw, September 22. Poland's Prime Minister told Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Friday not to insult Poles, maintaining harsh rhetoric towards Kyiv after the Polish president had sought to defuse a simmering row over grain imports. Poland decided last week to extend a ban on Ukrainian grain imports, shaking Kyiv's relationship with a neighbor that has been seen as one of its staunchest allies since Russia invaded Ukraine in February last year. I want to tell President Zelensky never to insult Poles again, as he did recently during his speech at the UN, Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki told an election rally. Advertisement scroll to continue. Poland holds a parliamentary election on October 15, and Morawiecki's ruling Nationalist Law and Justice Party has come in for criticism from the far right for what it says is the government's subservient attitude to Ukraine. Advertisement scroll to continue. Earlier on Friday, President Andrzej Duda, a PiS ally, had said the dispute between Poland and Ukraine over grain imports would not significantly affect good bilateral relations, in an apparent move to ease tensions. I have no doubt that the dispute over the supply of grain from Ukraine to the Polish market is an absolute fragment of the entire Polish-Ukrainian relations, Duda told a business conference. Advertisement scroll to continue. However, speaking to reporters in New York, Rao said that while Poland had not changed its policy towards Ukraine, there had been a radical change in Polish public opinion's perception of the country's relations.
This post received a score of 4,400, with an upvote ratio of 89%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Why are they fighting? Polish people hate the Russians almost as much as Ukrainians do.
Because no one gave you an actual answer yet. Ukraine last year had a deal with Russia allowing them to ship out grain, in exchange for easing sanctions. So Ukraine had to move massive amounts of grain through European railways, effectively flooding the markets of some countries like Poland. This obviously upset Ukraine, because they depend on those grain sales. Poland has already given Ukraine large percentages of its arms stockpiles, so they felt this was a slap in the face, and announced a halt to sending more weapons to Ukraine. Thank you for an actual response. So sick of constant cheap jokes by unfunny jerk-offs here.
It's also good to note that Ukraine has always been allowed to transit grain to countries through and beyond Poland. But, distance has its cost and Ukraine don't want to lose.
Yeah, it's rare that I feel so sympathetic to both sides, honestly. Poland feels like its good deeds and support have now been returned by an attack. Ukraine feeling like Poland's counting favors while it's literally fighting for existence and sacrificing a generation of youth. It's easy to feel a bit judgy of Poland, but that's because it costs me nothing.
This is why the Polish PM, sympathetically, compares Ukraine to a drowning man grabbing at anyone to keep their head above water. He's not disparaging Ukraine, he knows why they did this, but is firmly placing boundaries while remaining a key support. Honestly, as reasonable geopolitics as far as the region has seen lately.
Honestly, as a Brit, I feel we're in a good position to help out here. Poland doesn't want cheap grain flooding the market. We are dealing with skyrocketing food prices. Buying EU grain is less incentivized for us than EU countries. Us helping out EU countries like Poland avoid this matter gives us political credit, while the EU helping us transport the grain gives them political credit. And we're already spending a lot of money on helping Ukraine and giving ourselves a good name for doing so. Even if we pay slightly over the odds, it's essentially money we want going in that direction anyway.
I didn't expect to see Poland versus Ukraine and India versus Canada this year. What's next? Austria versus Romania? Australia versus France? Oh wait.
Australia v France can't happen till the final, and won't thanks to the mighty superpower known as Fiji.
Cries in Australian.
Nice to see our rugby union leaking.
Also, don't put your tongue against one in really cold weather. I learned that the hard way.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.